Hi, so today I'm looking at what living in harmony implies. So, first of all, harmony to me is not something that we pursue. It's not even something that we need to create, but we can take steps to arrive at it. And there are many different steps because harmony exists in the universe. Without it, this whole galaxy would fall apart. The stars would not stay where they are, the oceans would not be where they are. And this is something that I think humans have forgotten, that there is a rhythm in our lives and a rhythm to our lives. Look at the ocean, look at the sea. There's a rhythm. There's a time when the waves come in, when the tide comes in, and there's a time when it leaves again. So creating rhythm in our lives, creating harmony in our lives is what we're meant to do on a very concrete way, concrete manner. Because harmony already exists, we just have to restore ourselves to it. It's the path of restoration of what already exists within us. It's just that every time we feel like we're in conflict with ourselves, with others, and with the external world, we're in disharmony. When we're in disharmony with outside forces, it is always, in my opinion, and from my own experience working with myself and with clients, it always means that we are not in harmony with ourselves. Internally, there's this harmony, which is then being manifested on the outside of ourselves. We are throwing it off and throwing it out to the outside world. So there's great disharmony on the outside. We recognize it, but we do not become a part of it. Instead, we go internally and we find out the source of the disharmony within us and we heal that disharmony, that internal disharmony. Because we're not meant to be here suffering. I loved my teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was speaking about the Buddha and how the Buddha taught that there is going to be pain in life. If there's no pain, there is no life. And Rumi, I remember, I'm going to not use his exact words because I don't remember this exact quote, but it was to the effect that if we do not live fully, which means, of course, living too with everything else, everything in life, such as pain and everything else that comes with life, then we will not die peacefully. So in order to create this resonance with the external world, we need to first create resonance internally. And I am telling you folks, by working with myself and with clients, I have found out that there's tremendous chaos internally in our body, whether it's the clogging up of our lymph, where the interstitial fluid cannot even move anymore, where it's just clogged up, where there are barriers being created in our body because things are not moving, where we are constantly suffocating ourselves by constantly pushing and the limits of how much toxicity they can actually survive, whether it is because we are living in a place of instant gratification, we're not thinking about the repercussions of our actions. That creates tremendous disharmony in our bodies. That creates internal disharmony inside of us. And if there's disharmony, we cannot manifest the harmony which already exists and which we're privy to just by being here on earth as living beings. So how do we address this incongruence of the disharmony externally and the harmony that I am saying already exists, and we just have to navigate our way into it, and we have to find ways to excavate the harmony that already exists by, first of all, not becoming playthings, not becoming victims of the external world, by taking our powers back. Because only when we give our internal power away to the external world do we create this harmony, externally and internally. So if this harmony is manifesting externally, we are responsible for creating it. Now you might say to me, listen here, I do everything possible to create harmony in my life. I am not responsible for the disharmony I see. Yes, we are. We exist here, and every single thing we do, feel, think, and say contributes to the higher good or to the disillusion that so many are feeling right now, or to the big netty pot, the big pot of gold, or to the big pot of misery. Everything we feel, think, say, and do contributes to it, adds to it, detracts from it. So we need to ask ourselves every single day, am I going to contribute to the pot of gold today, or am I going to contribute to the misery pot? How do we contribute to the misery pot? By doing things that are fueled by instant gratification, by eating things, drinking things we know that if we were being mindful and we were being loving to ourselves, we would never partaking. By using words that are derogative, by calling people names, by lashing out at others, by being cruel and mean and unkind, just because somebody else was cruel and mean and unkind to us. We create disharmony every time we take on the energies of the outside world rather than we pour our own internal energies of love, light, and healing and harmony to the outside world. It is, yes, dependent on us. We have the powers to do this. We weren't just thrown here willy-nilly to deal with a lot of problems and issues and disharmony. No, we came here as harmonious beings in a very harmonious planet. Otherwise, as I said before, the galaxies would not be rotating as they do and would not stay where they are, and we would not have the ocean not overrunning us here on land. We do have some of that going on, because that's to remind us during a tsunami, during hurricanes and flooding and violent storms and tornadoes. We'd have that to remind us that we have created all of this chaos on the outside of ourselves, and what that's a reminder is to go internally, address the chaos, and heal it. That is the work I do with myself, and that's the work I do with my clients. So if somebody comes to me to change their diet, I address the chaos within that creates the need to create a very toxic diet, and a diet that it goes and leads down the path of more chaos in one's life. But first, we've got to change our languaging around that. We have to change our language. And to me, the language is the most important thing we can work on. When we change our language, we change our perception of ourselves. And when we change the perception of ourselves, we change our perception of others in our world. And our world begins to mirror all of that harmony within us. So I invite you to join me on this path of reclaiming our powers and living a very harmonious life, living harmoniously according to the laws of nature, by looking at the natural world and then recreating our lives to live in harmony with it. So when winter comes forth, we then let go and we surrender to the forces of winter. What do other animals do? Some animals, they hibernate all winter. Some animals, they simply hibernate when it gets darker earlier. They don't look for light where they can go and continue doing whatever they were doing before. We create artificial lighting so we can continue on as if winter did not set in. When it's spring and everything is bursting forth in beauty and radiance, if and only if we have taken the time in winter to go internally and do the internal work and do the deep healing, to sleep more, rest more, to take more time for self. If we do that work, we're able to burst forth with joy and not sit back and go, oh, it's spring already. Then we also will spring forth and with our own beauty and our love and our grace intact, and we'll add that to the beauty of the external world that is springing forth during the summer. during the spring and then leading us into summer. So we need to learn to live with the external world by eating what's local as much as possible and eating what's seasonal, by drinking what heals and that's seasonal, by loving ourselves to the point of loving ourselves into being. When we know and we've learned to love ourselves into being, then we can help love others into being, and that's the way we heal. We're not here to heal the world, we're here to heal ourselves. So take heart and start doing the work. Thanks for tuning in today. Please click the subscribe button and the notification button if you'd like to take part in these daily Monday to Fridays elegantly raw tidbits here with me, and I look forward to seeing you for more.